What is good? You Sneaky Stopper here, aka Leroy Jenkins. I'm going to be quickly going over all of the attachments for the Fennec. I will be making videos about my favorite attachments in the future, but until then, let's just get into all of it. First up, we have the muzzles. First up, the flash guard suppresses the flash of your weapon to help keep your target visible and your position concealed. Pros, muzzle flash concealment. Cons, bullet velocity. We have muzzle brake. Redex gases outward to stabilize the weapon for better control of sustained fire. Pros, recoil stabilization. Cons, aim down sight speed and aiming stability. Now we have the CQB breacher device. Enables one-hit melee kills. Pros, melee damage. Cons, aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. Now the tactical suppressor. Pros, sound suppression. Cons, aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. Now the monolithic suppressor. Pros, sound suppression and damage range. Cons, aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. After that, the ZLR Sabre. Pros, sound suppression. Pros, sound suppression, damage range, recoil control. Cons, aim down sight speed and aim walking steadiness. It greatly increases the muzzle velocity and reduces recoil to help with long range precision. And last for the muzzles, the compensator expels gases upward to aggressively fight muzzle climb. Pros, recoil control. Cons, aim down sight speed and aiming stability. Now we have the barrels. First up, the ZLR 16-inch Apex. Pros, damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control. Cons, aim down sight speed and movement speed. Now we have the ZLR 18-inch Deadfall. Pros, damage range, recoil control, bullet velocity, sound suppression. Cons, aim down sight speed and movement speed. Next up are the lasers. First up, the 1 milliwatt laser. Pros, hipfire accuracy, there are no cons, and it is not detectable by your enemies. Next up, the 5 milliwatt laser. Improves hipfire accuracy and speeds up targeting after sprinting. Exposes position when active, only for the aggressive. Pros, hipfire accuracy, sprint to fire speed. Cons, laser visible to enemies. Then we have the tac laser. Improves accuracy while aiming down sights. Exposes position when active. Pros, aim down sight speed, aiming stability, aim walking steadiness. Cons, laser visible to enemies. After that we have the optics. First up, the Cronin LP945 Mini Reflex. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. Next we have the operator reflex sight. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. Next is the Corp Combat Hollow Sight. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. Now we have the Viper Reflex Sight. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. Now the Solo Zero Optics Mini Reflex. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. Next the Scout Combat Optic. 3.25 times magnification for long range targeting. Pros, zoom level. Cons, aim down sight speed. Next up, the APX5 holographic sight. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. Now we have the Integral Hybrid 3.25 times scout with integral reflex sight for quickly transitioning between sights. Pros, reflex and scout toggle and zoom level. Cons, aim down sight speed. After that, the GI Mini Reflex, thin frame for an unobstructed sight picture. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. After that, the Monocle Reflex Sight, low intrusion frame for improved target tracking. Pros, precision sight picture. Cons, aim down sight speed. Next up, the VLK 3.0 times optic. Optic with a 3.0 times magnification provides reliable targeting. Pros, zoom level. Cons, aim down sight speed. Now the Solazera NVG Enhanced. Advanced 3.25 Gen 3 night vision with thermal overlay for enhanced situational awareness, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros: thermal target identification and zoomable. Cons: aim down sight speed. Next up, the Canted Hybrid 3.25 times Scout with a side mounting reflex sight. Lets you change engagement distances with a flick of the wrist. Pros: thermal and scout toggle, reflex and scout toggle and zoomable. Cons: aim down sight speed. Next up, the aim op reflex sight. Pros: precision sight picture. Cons: aim down sight speed. After that, the PBX Holo 7 sight. Pros: precision sight picture. Cons: aim down sight speed. Next up, the PERK Thermal Optic 3.25 times scope with thermal imaging, highlights targets, and provides visibility in all lighting conditions, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros: thermal target identification and zoomable. Cons: aim down sight speed. Next up, the Thermal Hybrid 3.25 times thermal scope with a side mounting reflex sight. Toggles thermal imaging with a flick of the wrist, not compatible with night vision goggles. Pros: reflex and thermal toggle and zoomable. Cons: aim down sight speed. Last for the optics, the Cronin C480 Pro Optic 3.5 times magnification provides excellent targeting. Now we have the stocks. First up, the FTAC C6 Carbine Pro. Heavy duty stock keeps your aim steady for precision shots. Pros: aiming stability. Cons: aim walking movement speed. Then we have the Forge TAC CQS. Gets you on target faster for close quarters combat. Pros: aim down sight speed. Cons: aiming stability. Then we have the ZLR Blade. Most stable stock available, provides exceptional control while aiming at the cost of mobility. Pros: aiming stability, aim walking steadiness. Cons: aim walking movement speed. Next is no stock, when agility is more important than precision. Moving stock greatly increases movement. Pros: movement speed, aim down sight speed. Cons: aiming stability and recoil control. Now we have the underbarrels. First up, the Merc Foregrip. Provides stability from the hip for fast-paced guerrilla tactics. Pros: recoil control, hip-fire accuracy. Cons: aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. Now we have the Commando Foregrip. Angled grip keeps the weapon steady while aiming and helps maintain control during heavy fire. Pros: recoil stabilization and aiming stability. Cons: movement speed. Now we have the Operative Foregrip. No frills foregrip helps control vertical recoil for faster follow-up shots. Pros: recoil control. Cons: aim down sight speed. Now we have the Tactical Foregrip. Provides superior control acquiring targets. Pros: aiming stability. Cons: movement speed. Now we have the Ranger Foregrip. Improves vertical recoil and stabilizes weapon while aiming for improved long-range combat. Pros: recoil control, aiming stability. Cons: aim walking movement speed and aim down sight speed. Next up is the ammunition. First up, the 40 round drum mag. Holds 40 rounds of .45 ACP ammunition, maximizing ammo capacity at the expense of mobility. Pros: magazine ammo capacity. Cons: aim down sight speed and movement speed. Now we have the .45 hollow point 12 round mags. Gun mod for lightweight single stack 12 round mags, comes equipped with a 2 round burst fire mode, .45 ACP hollow point ammunition to ensure every shot counts. Pros: damage and on sight speed and movement speed. Cons: magazine ammo capacity and bullet velocity. Next up are the rear grips. First up, the granulated grip tape. Keeps you steady and on target. Pros: aiming stability and aim walking steadiness. Cons: aim walking movement speed. After that, the stippled grip tape, less stable but very agile. Pros, aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. Cons, aiming stability. Now the rubberized grip tape, less steady but helps control or recoil. Pros, recoil control. Cons, aiming stability. Last but not least, we have the perks. First up, heavy hitter. Melee produces greater stun on targets. Then frangible wounding. Bullets cause target healing to be briefly delayed. After that, recon. See enemy nameplates at greater distances. And then FMJ. Increase bullet penetration and damage against equipment and kill streaks. Now fully loaded. Start with maximum reserve ammo. After that, frangible disabling. Bullets slow enemy movement and briefly disable tactical sprint when shooting legs. Now we have more money and additional XP for kills, headshot XP. Then we have sleight of hand for reload quickness. And then fast melee for melee quickness. And that is it for the Fennec SMG. SMG, yeah, I said that right. I will be going over my favorite attachments for this gun in the future, like I said in the beginning. But until then, have a great day and peace.